the best parts about owning an EV has got to be the lack of maintenance. Unlike an internal combustion engine vehicle where you have a million moving parts, you got pistons, you got spark plugs, you got the engine, the transmission, you don't have all of that maintenance when it comes to an EV. Things are a lot simpler. Well, for dealerships where their biggest profit maker is known to be servicing your internal combustion engine vehicle, and now they're selling electric vehicles that don't need service as often, well, it's hurting their pockets. And so they're trying to make up for it in really, really sneaky ways. We have this post from the Ioniq Guys Facebook group, an Ioniq 5 owner sharing, "I took my 2022 Ioniq 5 with 28,000 miles, bought in July 2022 for a tire rotation for 5,000 miles. It's actually been 8,000 miles since the last one. The dealer surprised me with a service quote for $600. When I mentioned the car is still under 36,000 miles and less than 3 years old, the dealer agreed to do the tire rotation and do an overall check for no fee and told me this is the last free one. I was also told they will do 2 recalls. Am I supposed to pay $600 for every service call at 10,000 miles, every 10,000 miles from now onwards?" And we see this dealership has their Route 1 Hyundai checkup. Right? Every 10,000 miles. Rotate and balance tires, replace the cabin filter, replace coolant and check coolant system, perform brake system service flush. I mean, you get the point, right? This is supposed to be an interval service check. Now, mind you, this is every 10,000 miles. And realistically, you're supposed to be replacing your coolant like every 36,000 miles, and some people don't even do that. They might wait till way over 36,000 miles. So replacing and flushing the coolant every 10,000 is kind of absurd. Then perform brake system service flush. It's an electric vehicle. Most of the time, for most EVs, you're going to be using regenerative braking. Most EVs throughout their entire lifetime may not even need to have their brakes serviced. Then you're going into replacing the in-cabin filter, which honestly, that can make sense. Rotate and balance tires, that makes sense. Overall check of brake system, brake pads, rotors, brake fluid. I mean, some of this is just so unnecessary for a 10,000 mile interval, on top of the fact that this is all $600. I promise you, I can go to some random shop near me and probably have all of this done for like $200 for pretty much any vehicle. But these dealers, right, service is a big profit maker for them. And with EVs not coming in as often, they got to make up for it somehow. So they are artificially inflating the prices so they can make their money back. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone saw this here. Inspect exhaust pipes and mounting. I mean, it's one of the top ones. Inspect exhaust pipes in mounting. And that's the issue here. A lot of these dealers don't really know about electric vehicles. They know electric vehicles are vehicles, they're cars, and they're taking all of their knowledge about internal combustion engine vehicles and pretty much just carrying it over to electric vehicles. But that wouldn't make sense because electric vehicles and internal combustion engine vehicles have totally different powertrains. There's different physics, which means there are different maintenance and maintenance patterns. So you're never going to need your exhaust pipes and mounting inspected. Now, I'd also like to point out here, it says EV vehicles, but means electric vehicles. So it's saying electric vehicles. Clearly, whoever made this has no idea what they're doing. Now, there are a few other things on this list that really are just kind of unnecessary. They know that this does not really cost that much, $600 for all of this, but for those who don't want to deal with having to replace their key fob battery or replace their wipers, or just pretty much maintain all of their car, every 10,000 miles, you go to this dealership and they'll do it all for you. But expecting pretty much every EV owner who comes into your dealership service department and pay this is absurd. And this isn't just a one-off. You can actually check forums for a lot of electric vehicles and you'll see the exact same thing. These dealers are artificially inflating service pricing for electric vehicles to make up for some of that lost revenue. And they're trying to maintain things that really don't need maintaining in the first place. Even Chevy has prepaid maintenance plans, but pricing is completely up to the dealership. So kind of like in a Hyundai situation, you're subject to whatever exorbitant price the dealership wants to charge you. But looking through the list here, I wonder how much of this is truly necessary, right? Here in the EV prepaid maintenance premium plan, replace one of the front and rear brake rotors, a replacement of one set of brake pads. I mean, how often do you need this changed, if ever, through your ownership of the vehicle? Now, I get it. Look, a lot of maintenance that goes into owning a vehicle of any powertrain is preemptive. You're doing things that are likely unnecessary for the time and age of your vehicle. You're doing it because you want to make sure that your vehicle lasts long, has a long, strong life. With that being said, I feel like a lot of dealers have been preaching no maintenance when it comes to electric vehicles, and now they're trying to recuperate some of this revenue by trying to arbitrarily or lie about some of the service and maintenance that electric vehicles need, so those cars come back to their lots for service, therefore making them more revenue. And I'm genuinely curious what the long-term strategy for some of these dealerships and the automotive industry as a whole will be. If you're selling a product and part of the lifetime revenue that you get from that product is from service, and now the product is better and it doesn't need as much service as often, well, you're selling a product that makes you less revenue and profit in the long term, which just kind of kills your business. So what are dealerships going to do, and what are companies going to do to ensure that dealerships continue to maintain the profit margins that they have today, while simultaneously trying to provide a good ownership experience for the people that buy these cars, electric vehicles? Look, automakers and dealerships clearly are having a tough time figuring out this EV situation. Now, a lot of them are making progress. For instance, Ford and a few other automakers have forced their dealerships to at least install DC fast charging at their dealerships to charge some of their EVs. Others just going with level 2 charging, but clearly they understand the need to maintain and sell the electric vehicles that they have to ensure that customers are having a good experience. But I still think dealerships have no idea what they're doing when it comes to electric vehicles. I've been to dealerships before. It's something that I like to do as a pastime. I go to dealerships, check out what new electric vehicles are on the lot. Sometimes a salesperson will come up to me and I'll have a conversation with them, and it is absolutely clear they have no idea what they're talking about. A lot of salespeople and the dealership as a whole have no idea when it comes to battery degradation or charging features, range, or how the 12-volt battery differs from the actual large high voltage battery underneath the vehicle. And unlike an internal combustion engine vehicle, which can often be sitting on some of these dealership lots for months on end with no movement, with an electric vehicle, over time, you're going to see a discharge of the battery. So slowly the battery is going to be losing charge over time. You do that too long, you're going to have a car with a dead battery. And if dealerships are continuing to leave electric vehicles on their lots unmaintained, well, you're going to have cars that no longer work, or cars that have, in a sense, damaged batteries. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories of people going to test drive EVs at dealerships, and, well, the EV that they're looking to drive just wasn't charged. And so either the dealership has to cut the test drive short, or they just can't test drive the car. There's a lot of miscommunication when it comes to the actual EV ownership experience, how to maintain and keep an EV from owners and even the corporate level automakers to the dealerships that are actually selling and maintaining these vehicles. Even on the flip side, when it comes to service, you have dealerships with service centers that have no idea how to keep, maintain, and service electric vehicles. And so you may come into a Ford dealership with your Mustang Mach-E, and they have absolutely know what to do with your electric vehicle, your Mustang Mach-E, because they're so used to internal combustion engine vehicles, and there is no one on site who's able to repair that for you. Now look, things are definitely getting better when it comes to dealerships and how they keep, maintain, and sell electric vehicles. But we are well over 10 years into this point of mainstream EVs, and dealerships have still yet to catch on, which I think is a huge problem. And I would like to see automakers really push dealerships to selling electric vehicles properly, maintaining electric vehicles properly, having people on site at all times when you're selling electric vehicles, so they know how to properly sell them. Look, if you own an electric vehicle from a legacy automaker, that being the Ford, the GM, the Stellantis, the Hyundai, Kia, what has your experience been when it comes to working with a dealership? I'm genuinely curious. Let me know down in the comments below. But I'll end this off by saying if we have mandatory EV sales training, you always have the technicians on hand who are trained working on electric vehicles. You have the proper infrastructure on dealerships' parking lots to charge and maintain these electric vehicles. I truly think dealerships will be in a lot better spot than they are today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Out of Spec Bits, and I'll see you guys in the next one.